Well, good Thursday morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on this 18th day of September. We got Thursday night football tonight. As you can see, Sparky's got the colors already on, ready to go as his Miami Dolphins get set to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Sparky, good morning. How you feeling?
Good morning.
We
I'm
got
on
some hope,
top of the
baby.
world.
We got some hope today.
Let's do it.
I feel it. Let them know what else we're into today.
After hearing that Amber and Ian promo, I just want to slap her.
I'm glad somebody else said it though, but look, man, she's just as frustrated as a lot of other Miami fans. I know you get frustrated at times.
Yeah, are you guys new?
I mean,
come on, man.
Who knew? Who knew? Who knew that, right?
Get out of here with
what else
all
we
that
got today?
Drama. We'll talk a little Thursday night football. We'll get some NFL news. We've got your fantasy questions. You can text them in at 842-2000. We'll get into about everything today, and we've got another pair of Kern County Fair tickets. Like I said, if you want to get in the running, just text in 661-842-2000. And if we have time at 8 o'clock, we'll do our football picks.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to jump in, feel free, 842-2000. Plus, we have our boy Bolt Brady coming in at 8:30. And we talked a little bit about yesterday, but Buffalo is favored 12.5. I want to see what Bolt thinks. Do you take the points? Do you just stay away from Thursday night football like most people do?
That's fair.
And I did pull some stats on the last time somebody upset and actually won the game after being the underdog for 12.5. And it's been a while. I'll just say that.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get into that and much more right here on the Early Bird Special.
11.5 and 12.5 under. I mean, that's still a wild number to give the Buffalo Bills. I know Miami hasn't looked great, but at least they've been competitive in each game. They're not getting well, not each game. I'm sorry. I forgot about Colts. See, it's a recency bias. I've already forgot about the Colts.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too.
But no, again, competitiveness, especially within these interdivision games. 11.5, 12.5. That's wild, ESPN.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I would take the money and run, baby. Because even if you do lose 6, 7 at the most, I don't see you
Miami
guys
straight up.
Exactly.
Give it to me.
Before we get to football, because we talked all day about football yesterday, and everybody gave us grief because apparently you guys want me to talk about the Phillies when they beat your Dodgers. Luckily, your Dodgers beat the Phillies last night 5-0. However, that's not the story I'm going to get to. The story that's coming out of ESPN is Dave Roberts apparently listens to the Early Bird Special. And all of you Dodger fans that told me that this would never happen, looking at you in the camera right now, you look real stupid now, don't you? Because guess what they're considering? Putting Shohei Ohtani in the bullpen.
I don't think that'll help, personally.
Okay.
When their other pitchers are already down 5-6 runs, he can't save them.
No, but here's the thing. When your pitchers are up 3-4 runs in a game, and then you have to go to Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, and the rest of these hooligans of gas tanks in the Dodger bullpen who just throw games away, it kind of makes it necessary. You know what I mean? Like, we go back to the last time they won the championship when you put Julio Urias as essentially your main bullpen arm. And he was a starter. It works, especially during playoff time. I'm just going to tell you right now, I know all you Dodger fans are screaming, no, it'll never happen. Shohei's a starter. It'll never happen.
He also came out and said he would play outfield.
Yeah.
He'll play anything. If he only had that many Ohtanis, he could play the whole game.
Exactly. If he had an ability to play every position, he would. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to be a bullpen player for you in the postseason. Probably going to be the best bullpen arm in the postseason. And it's going to help you guys win games. And then everybody's good. I hope all of you that have been listening for the last couple of weeks are going to come back to this show and say, I'm sorry, Burdick, you were right. This would have worked so long ago. We probably would have 100 wins if we did this so forever ago, especially since Dave Roberts, for some reason, won't let Shohei go past 5 innings, even when he has a no-hitter going. That's the long and short of it. That's where I'm going to keep it. That's all the Dodger talk you're going to get today, by the way, because I'm not going to slander the Dodgers. And I'm just saying, this was a story that we had talked about weeks ago, a concept that we talked about weeks ago. Everybody, including people in this studio, called me an idiot for saying it. And then weeks later, they were calling for it. And now weeks after that, the coaching staff is talking about it. So let's stop calling people idiots and pointing fingers saying that's never going to happen. Clearly, it's happening.
Well,
So
at least it's an idea. I don't think it's going to help, but
I
personally,
agree with you.
I just think that is something that they should have probably went by a month ago.
Yes.
But
Long
Ohtani does
overdue.
look good, and I've talked to
Now,
a couple Dodger fans last night while I was running around, and a few of them are still really, really scared every time he pitches. So I mean, like,
yes, but if you
it's happened. It's gonna happen. He's gonna pitch. So get over it.
Yep.
And you have to roll with the chances.
And really, I get why they'd be concerned with him pitching, but wouldn't that mean you want to limit the amount of innings he's pitching instead of having him as a starter for 7 innings possibly? You can have him as a reliever and maybe have him for 1. It's really like every concern that I've heard from Dodger fans about his, the getting hurt again and stuff like that. I get it, but there are ways to work around that. That's when I really know if you have a mind of a coach. And I don't mean to point out people that don't, but if I talk to somebody and they're not really thinking of solutions, they're just complaining as a fan, you don't think things through. And I don't mean that in the sense of like you're dumb. I mean, like if you really sat there and thought about every angle of the game, where they could go, the adjustments they can make, that's really the mindset that you should think about it or think of with it. And at this point right now, the Dodgers are doing everything they can to turn the pitching woes around to keep themselves relevant in the postseason and not flounder out what should be a championship year for them. And now you're fighting for the 3rd best spot in the NL, and you're looking up at 2 teams that everybody is now saying are the favorites to win the entire thing. It would make sense if you make some adjustments late in the year. Now, the only thing that I have to highlight here is, like we talked about yesterday with the Dodger fans, everybody's calling for Dave Roberts' job again. Do you think it's kind of time for LA kind of just to hush the fans and just do it, especially if they don't win the championship this year?
I can see it coming.
I could too. And that sucks because Dave Roberts is a fantastic manager. But I mean, Dodger fans, I guess, are just thinking about it in a sense of we won the division now over a decade straight, and we've only won 2 championships out of it. That's better than a lot of other teams. And baseball is not one of those not one of those sports where people dominate. It usually goes that way. So personally, I think his record kind of warrants him staying in LA, but the fan outrage, especially with the way he manages the game sometimes, I agree with you. I think he might be on the way out.
Yeah, if he was with any other team that wasn't the Yankees or
The
Dodgers,
they
wouldn't even be in a conversation.
No, it'd be a Dusty Baker like thing. He'd be there for the next 10 years. But you're right. I mean, at this point, I think the outcry from the fans, it's going to force the ownership to do something, especially if they don't win this year and make something happen. So maybe this move, especially if it does happen in the postseason, to put Shohei in the bullpen could potentially save Roberts' job again. Well, I shouldn't say again, because God only knows if the ownership even thought this through or thought those thoughts that the fan base is. But the outcries from people within their fan base of the Dodger organization for Dave Roberts' job, I mean, it happens every single year. But at this point, I think the ownership has to get tired of it.
Yeah, when they're winning, he's the greatest.
Exactly.
And when they're on a slump, everyone's like, "You idiot! He's an idiot. Get rid of him."
I just can't.
It's got to be a tough job, dude.
It really does. I would not want to be the manager for the Dodgers or the Yankees, 100%. Because you're right. The minute you make a miscue, they're calling for your job. And you know what? It's not even for the Yankees. I can't even say the Yankees because they've had an abysmal year with multiple MVPs on the roster, and no one's calling for Boone's job. No one's saying he should be fired now in New York. But every year we hear Dave Roberts, he should be fired. Dave Roberts sucks. He's an awful manager. I can manage better than Dave Roberts. No, you can't, by the way. And it's the dumbest thing in the world. That's why, honestly, I lose a lot of respect for Dodger fans that are like that are very just off the cuff. Like, if your team's losing by 3 runs, see, we should have fired him months ago. And then, like you just said, Sparky, they're up by 4. Dave Roberts is the greatest manager on the planet, Shohei Ohtani, and this team is the greatest team on the planet. It's like, God, can we get some sort of normalcy out of you? Like, there's got to be some sort of middle ground to pull you in, but that is what it is. That's just, again, Dodger slander's over. I promise. We're done. I just wanted to highlight that the first story that I read this morning on ESPN was the fact that Dave Roberts and the Dodgers are contemplating putting Shohei in the bullpen, as I've been calling for months. Months.
Too little, too late, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, even after this, it don't matter if you do it next year. Next year, he's back to being a starter. I guarantee it. He'll be in the rotation. It is what it is. We'll see what the Dodgers can do to turn this around with the final, what, dozen games left in baseball.
Seattle's got 10.
Yeah, I was like, I know we're down to the final. We're almost in single digits for everybody.
It's like flip and flop. We were up yesterday. Now we're down a half game. It's going to be a
Sorry
crazy
to tell
next
you,
10
my buddy.
games, but
I was gonna say, sorry to tell you, you're
it's
probably
gonna
gonna
be
be like that for the next
yeah,
week and a half, 2
and
weeks.
we get them before the end of the season. So hopefully that breaks it. But we end the season with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I've already heard a bunch of crap about it, but let's just get through the rest of the season before you start making shots.
And again, I'm going to echo what I said months ago. If the Dodgers don't play 600 baseball, they're not going to do well in the playoffs. And guess what you guys aren't doing? So at this point, it's a big question mark for the Dodgers organization. And that's why I had to present the question to Sparky too and see if he thought the same thing I did. We may be seeing some managerial changes, not because of his success with the team, but because of just the outcries from fans. And that is what it is at this point. If you're a Dodger fan or you're within the Dodger organization, they have this new expectation of gold every single year, and
As they
rightfully
should.
so.
Yeah.
And if you aren't the manager that's going to get them in that position every single year, they're going to find somebody that will. So I think that's unfortunately just going to be what leads to Dave Roberts and leaving LA.
And for Dodger fans, hopefully that win last night will turn into a nice run and you guys get in the playoffs hot. You know, that's what's going to matter is on who's playing hot when the playoffs start. But we'll take a break. And if you got any questions or comments, feel free to text them in 842-2000. I've already got 2 names on the fair running.
Fantastic.
If you'd like to win some fair passes from the early bird special, we got you right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
You know, I have to thank Rhea for multiple reasons. One, for introducing me to this band. Wasn't a huge Motionless in White fan until this song came out. And over a million times listening to it, because God, it's so good. I dove into their actual music, and wow, if you're a metal fan, I highly recommend it. I know a lot of you are probably going to give me grief, just like the whole Black Veil Brides thing, but it is what it is. I don't know. No, I'm not a Black Veil Brides fan. Don't get me wrong. But they had one song years ago, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty decent. And everybody looked at me like, what?
Oh, it's all good. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I have, I like all sorts of music, all kinds of it, except bro country. That's where I draw the line. But hey, it's music. It's for everybody. So I don't care what you like or what you don't like.
Yeah, everybody's got their own thing. The other thing I got to thank her for, though, is probably one of the funniest videos I've seen in the last week and a half, and that's her getting killed by Art the Clown. And don't get me wrong, that's an awesome way to go about it. And I couldn't tell if this was supposed to be like a meet and greet thing, because right after she gets carried off by two, nurses, and you could clearly tell in the video, if you look at the one that I saw from kind of behind the scenes, not necessarily in front of the stage, but behind it, she's got the fattest smile on her face.
Oh yeah,
she's got the fattest smile on her face.
Yeah, and I had I saw the post. There was people they aren't wrestling fans that were just like, this is corny. But if you're a wrestling fan, it was perfect.
And
it was awesome.
First and foremost, it's corny. Do you not watch the Terrifier movies? Although they are gory, but
right.
That's pretty corny.
That's what corny is.
That's pretty dang corny for a horror movie.
And before we get away, I will say I found a new show that I've hooked on, which is the Mr. Robot, man.
Oh, you're just getting into that? Oh, dude.
I just started it. And I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in.
You're going to enjoy that.
It is a
Rami
great
Malek
show.
in that show is fantastic. I saw that before he played Freddie Mercury. And when I had originally heard he was playing Freddie, when he got the role after Sacha Baron Cohen walked away, if I remember correctly, and chime in and tighten me up if you will, I immediately said, "Oh, the Mr. Robot guy, like, okay, like I
can look just like him,
dude." When he grew the mustache, I was like, "Oh wow, okay, like we're good, we're good." I take everything back. Like he's a fantastic actor, but yeah, you'll enjoy that series. It's so much fun to watch. Let's talk about this Thursday night game real quick.
Oh,
Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills. Right now, Miami is grasping for anything they can to climb themselves back up out of this hole that they dug themselves in.
It starts with the win.
Yes, it does. And at this point, what do you think, being the Miami Dolphins guy that you are, what needs to happen in order for them to turn this around outside of Tua Tagovailoa playing well? We all know
it
that
doesn't start with Tua. I think it starts with the defense. There has been flashes, very small flashes, but flashes of the defense looking good. But we got to start with the rush defense. The actual secondary hasn't looked as bad as I was expecting with the departure of Ramsey and Javon Holland out in New York now. I personally think that's where it starts, and I think Miami plays, it's either hot or cold, man. They either play Buffalo real tight like they did at the end of the season last year, or they just lay an egg. And I'm hoping that the short week, Buffalo has no Ed Oliver. Buffalo has no Matt Milano. They're missing a couple core pieces, but they got to stop the run. And they've got to have a spy on Josh Allen. Just like any team playing Buffalo, they're, practicing to stop Josh Allen.
Oh, 100%.
And I think our corners can stop the receiving core in Buffalo, but I think that's where it starts. I think Tua had a way better game in week 2, and we're starting to see the offense start to kind of find themselves. But I think mixing in, Malik Washington, who had the kickoff return last week, I think the kid has shown some promise. And I think Devin A-Chain, I think, the offense isn't going to be the problem, but it's just you can't rely on the offense with under 2 minutes left. You just can't do it.
No, and really you want to take away the referees from that as well, because let's take last week's game for you guys, the A-Chain touchdown that was called back, that I still, while watching that game, found it kind of weird that they didn't show the replay to that.
Oh, they did on my
did
side.
They on your side?
Okay,
the one that I was watching, I didn't see it, so I was like, well, that's weird. Usually they'd show everybody that obviously he was out of bounds.
But they had 2 tries under 2 minutes. They had the ball twice. They were driving, and I will say it, it wasn't just Tua. It was the clock management. It was getting the play in the huddle. We lost a timeout, our final timeout,
Mm-hmm.
in the second to last drive because of clock management.
Mm-hmm.
They had 12 guys in the huddle. And I'm like, you can't do that. You just have to be better. And considering the first half, they had the ball for 3 minutes and had 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they can have the 2-minute work,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to have your play, and you have to, especially with an offense, once they started moving the receivers in motion, that's when it started to open up again. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we got this. We're back into form, but they've got to have a plan, and they've got to know, they just can't throw the game on Tua with 2 minutes left.
Right. And I think you guys are sitting in a really good spot to win this game. One, it's a trap game, no matter how early in the season it is. It really is. Two, you've already highlighted their two best defenders, in my opinion, are not going to be playing. That's Ed Oliver and Milano. They do have Joey Bosa, but to be honest with you, he's been a shell of his former self for years now. I have not seen the Joey Bosa of old when he was drafted to the Chargers, probably in 3-4 years. And that's why they moved on from him. So I don't expect him to make a big impact in this game, although I'm sure he'll make a sack or have some sort of name recognition play at some point during this game. But with Devon A-Chain and the team you guys have, it really starts to feel like you guys could pull something off here, at least on the offensive side. I agree with you. I think the defense really needs to step up and find a way to slow down Josh and James Cook, because James had a fantastic game last week and is probably going to be riding that momentum into this week.
Yep.
And
I know we're in our backup right tackle, backup right guard, and they have to use what works.
right.
And the one sad thing that I've seen just as a fan
Mm-hmm.
is, not only did we lose Jonnu in that trade, but we're not using the tight ends
No,
at all.
not at
And
all.
with Darren Waller still out, I believe
Mhm.
he missed the first 2 weeks. That was supposed to be, his blanket. And we haven't used the tight ends. And if you've watched Tua, he feeds those tight ends.
100%.
And that's been one of the main issues. But I think it'll be, hopefully, a close game.
Mhm.
And, if Miami can pull what they have, and obviously they're going to have to work with the weapons.
Mhm.
Not only, what Xavier Howard said after the week one is, defenses take away Tua's first look,
Mhm.
and he panics. Well, have some backup plans,
Yeah.
bruh.
Have some
You're a
ideas
head
in your
coach of
head
the
where you're gonna
NFL.
go. And you know what's funny? And I'm glad you brought up the head coaching situation, because I have to bring this up as well. We've talked about this for the last couple of weeks. I know we're not necessarily where you were talking about the deadline being, but we're halfway through it. If they lose tonight and go down 0-3, we were already talking about Dave Roberts potentially losing his job. Would you think the axe comes down on McDaniel sooner rather than later?
If I was the owner, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a long week, after this. You have, 10 days, 12 days, or whatever it is to
Mhm.
get ready for the Jets. And I wouldn't sit on it. But personally, it's going to really depend on what team shows up. If they lose by a nail biter and the team actually looks good, then I probably wouldn't unplug quite yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they look and they embarrass themselves, embarrass all their fans,
Yeah.
and come out and just lay an egg, I mean, the Bills can put up 50 points real quick.
Right.
And if it's ugly and the Dolphins just look, like they don't want to be there, then I think it's time. And I don't think it's just the head coach. I think it's the GM. I think it's the defensive coordinator. I think it's everybody.
Mhm.
And personally, if I'm the owner, if I'm Stephen Ross, and they come up and they don't look like they're an NFL professional team, I'm pulling the plug on everybody.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you're right. Because well, when it comes to the coaching staff, obviously you get rid of McDaniel, you'll have to deal with the coordinators and whatnot still for the rest of the year because they're on contract. But after that year, when you actually find your next head coach, the rest of them will be swiftly moved on from as well. But the GM is the one that's really interesting to me, because I feel like no one really lets the guillotine go on the GM more than the coach. And by saying that, I mean, like, okay, let's take Atlanta, for example. Portnoy, when he came in as the GM, has kind of had some interesting choices. I mean, he's drafted Kyle Pitts. He's gotten us some pretty solid pieces, but a lot of it has gotten some criticism from Atlanta fans. But I still wouldn't say that his job is in jeopardy quicker than the head coach's job would be, right? And I feel like the NFL needs to start not necessarily pointing fingers, but start assessing the general managers a little bit more than the head coaches. The head coaches are only dealing with what they've been given by the general manager. Like, I know we are sitting here talking about Mike McDaniel and making some adjustments and figuring it out as a head coach. And maybe what we said last week is true. Maybe he's just an offensive minded guy. He's probably one of the better offensive coordinators in the league, and he just doesn't have what it takes to be a head coach. I don't want to speak for that, but it is what it is. Like, just kind of the contrary, or the evidence is showing that. But why do we never give any of the blame to the GM for the team that you set him up with?
Exactly. That's
He
where it
came
starts.
in with Tua, not necessarily choosing Tua, but essentially got told, we got rid of Brian because he didn't want Tua. We're bringing you in because you're forced to have him.
And Greer's been there for several quarterbacks. It wasn't even Tua. It was the
Exactly.
other 18 before that.
So when does when does it actually come down on you? Maybe it's not the coach for not being able to develop the player. Maybe it's you for picking the player that's not going to be developed here. We've talked about it many, many times on this show that your success as a professional athlete really does depend on what team you are drafted to and how well they can develop you. I think that's why the NBA, although I do believe that the whole lottery system is rigged to a point, but I feel like that's why you get that situation with people like San Antonio and stuff like that, because they are the perfect place to develop guys like Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle and a lot of these other guys. So at the end of the day, when do we really look at these GM's decisions and say, you didn't exactly set up our coaching staff for success? You're not exactly helping us by making these decisions and signing these players and bringing people in. And I know head coaches have a say in at least free agents and some draft picks, but you can't put all of the blame on a coach.
Oh yeah,
You
and
have to sit there and say the GM has something to do with it too.
Greer is the one driving this ship right into to a big rock, because I've been wanting him gone for years. And I was happy with Flores. I wasn't happy with, we went through the Saban year, everybody, oh, we're chasing Harbaugh. You had the chance with Harbaugh, didn't pull the trigger. You had the offer with Sean Payton, didn't pull the trigger.
Mhm.
This goes back. I mean, he was there when we had a chance to work out. We worked out Drew Brees. Oh, his injury was a concern. What happened? He went and won a Super Bowl in New Orleans. I'm like, you could have had a lot. And it is really on the GM. And I think he's on his last straw
Mm.
personally, unless he's got some insider info on Stephen Ross. And there's a reason that he has this
God,
job,
could you
because he shouldn't be there in the first place.
Could you imagine if this story comes out and they do end up letting Greer go, and then Greer comes out and like
Well, there's
we
been
have a
talks.
Washington Commanders like situation
Well,
where
there was some talks even with the whole Flores thing, that's why they
Yeah.
kept him, the minority type GM and all this talk. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is all wash and the Dolphins can shock the world and pull out a win. But we'll get into some much more. We've got plenty of text. If you'd like to get into the running for some free Kern County Fair tickets, text in 842-2000. We are the early bird special on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM. Did he drop a whole new album?
I just saw the first song.
I just saw the first song too, and I was curious of that the other day because I was trying to look through Spotify to find it, and I couldn't find it.
Just FYI, the last time a 12.5 point underdog won an NFL game was when the Cardinals beat the Patriots 20-18 on September 16th, 2012.
I don't remember the game fully, but I do remember that happening. Now that you say that, I kind of remember. Yeah, no.
And I'm reaching. I'm reaching.
No,
I just
reaching.
wanted to have it before we had Bolt, because the other two notable ones was obviously the Giants were 12.5 point underdogs against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And then 97 was the NFL divisional playoffs. January 4th, 1997, Jaguars were 12.5 point underdogs and beat the Broncos 30-27.
Oh wow! Yeah, see,
there's three right there.
Sports comes full circle, man. These things happen. These things happen. If you listen to our sister station this morning, we were doing our football picks with First Look and Scott Cox. I said it then. The levee's going to break for a lot of these teams.
It's due.
It's due. So who knows? Maybe we start with the Miami Dolphins today. The Colts might get blown out this weekend, and we get back to some normalcy, baby. We get back to normal NFL football, and everybody's sitting there thinking, okay, woo, we don't have to actually be worried about half these teams. But again, I think 12.5 points is just a wild amount of points. If you're a bettor, or obviously out of California because you can't sports bet here in California, but if you're listening to us in Nevada or Utah or wherever the heck you guys are and you're a sports bettor, one, listen to our boy Bolt Brady here at 8:30 because he's going to help you with all of your picks for the weekend, including college ball. But two, I'd be taking those points and running like a thief, because even if they do, let's say for some reason Miami doesn't play well and they blow them out by 14, I wouldn't have seen that coming, to be completely honest with you. Not with the pieces that Buffalo's missing on a short week.
We'll see. We'll see. But some injury updates. Brock Purdy, we talked about it on Scott's show, but he is practicing limited, and there is a chance. Shanahan came out and said that he could play. But I mean, even with Mac, he threw 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Nope.
I mean, do you put him in that early?
You know what? If there is any indication that Brock's injury is still lingering, I think you ride with Mac. But again, you have to take into account that they played the Saints, who aren't the best team in the NFL this year. So any kind of great play really is just kind of expected, I guess.
I mean, they're playing Arizona.
But they still almost lost that game.
Yeah.
They still almost lost that game. So at the same time, I think there's some concern that maybe the offense doesn't roll as well when you're not with Brock Purdy. But, I mean, I got text messages yesterday, people complaining they couldn't put Brock Purdy on their IR. Okay. He's probably playing. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's one of those situations where
he wasn't on the IR. So
no, he wasn't on the IR. And that's the other thing too that I want to explain to people. If your fantasy football league has IR spots, no, you cannot put someone in there that's week to week
or suspended.
It's not what it's for. It's for IR. It's for people long term. But no, this would be, again, one of those cautionary tales, I think, for Kyle Shanahan. I think if there's any indication that this foot injury or the shoulder thing that he'd been dealing with as well are still lingering, I'd wait another week just because it's early in the season. You could probably eat a loss, even though it's the Arizona Cardinals. You could probably eat this loss if it ends up happening that way. But I think you're still sitting in a pretty solid spot with Mac Jones at quarterback if you're the 49ers. So I'd say just play it by ear. If there's any indication Brock is still somewhat hurting from that.
And what happens if you rush him back in?
Yeah, exactly. And then much like we talk about a lot of these other guys, he gets dinged in the shoulder one time on a sack. Now he's out 8 weeks, or, Joe Burrow 3 months. So at this point, I think if you're a 49er, you'd want to play Mac Jones just in case that ends up being a possibility, because we've all seen what the 49ers look like without Brock Purdy in the playoffs. So what other text messages we got? I know you said you had a list of them in there. We might as well get to them right now because we got Bolt Brady coming up in the second hour.
Before we get into the fantasy picks, the one says Ohtani suggested bringing in him as the closer, not Roberts, but I hope it doesn't happen. as we need him as a starter as our pitchers suck.
It does not matter who was the one who came forward with the idea.
Burdick said it.
I was the one who said it months ago. Regardless if Shohei listens to the show or Dave Roberts, doesn't matter. One of them is smart. And one of them is making the moves necessary for the Dodgers to potentially win a championship.
The first fantasy one says, do I go with Rome or Tyreek?
Oh, I'm gonna let you speak to that one.
I mean, I would expect. I know Tyreek had double digits. Rome has been money, even when the Bears aren't. Rome has gotten his targets, and I believe he's got multiple touchdowns already.
Look what happens when you move on from Keenan Allen. The Bears actually
and
get
Keenan
this
Allen looks
chemistry.
good. So I mean, they both look good. I personally, I don't like starting players on Thursday night if I don't have to.
Same. Superstars though are
I would shoot myself because if you have the cheetah and he is due after last week in the overthrow, I would expect Tua to feed him.
Do you think that it's actually going to be one of those moments though where it's kind of like a Tyreek saves you kind of a thing? Enough for you to actually play
saving us, but
I'm
I
sorry.
think Tyreek is. I mean, if you have Tyreek, you got to start him.
Yeah,
I would expect, unless there has been people that wanting trade offers to trade Tyreek, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna wait because either he's gonna light it up with Miami and get back into form, or we're gonna trade him and he's gonna go to a team and be
that
money.
Guy. Yeah.
So I personally would probably go with Tyreek this week. But I mean, it's a good backup if you don't.
I want to know who the rest of your wide receivers. You must be in some dang good spirits right now if you're choosing between Roma Dunze and Tyreek Hill.
The next one says, do I go with Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is on a tear, but I believe that this entire situation with the Colts, the levee's going to break at some point. For some reason, week 3 seems like it's going to be the case.
They got Tennessee.
I know. And it's the only
and
thing.
Pittsburgh's and Foxborough.
The weird thing about this is that's a trap game to me as well. The Tennessee game against the Colts. And it's weird to say because the Colts still in my head aren't that good of a team. Like they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they're not that good of a team. So for some reason, this just kind of feels like that game for Cam Ward. That this is going to be the one where everybody looks at Cam Ward and says, that's the number 1 overall pick. That's the guy right there. Because he has had flashes of it. He's had some great play in the first 2 weeks. And even though Tennessee is still, garbage with a little bit of glitter on top, they have potential to at least upset some people. And if we've seen anything in the NFL, as Sparky has said many times already on this show, any given Sunday, these teams don't go undefeated. And it would not be a big surprise to me if Daniel Jones struggles against Tennessee.
I mean, I'm rolling with Daniel Jones just because I was kind of forced to, but I would probably roll with Rodgers, not only because he has more weapons, but that New England secondary isn't great. I mean, Tua just threw almost 300 yards on him last week.
Outside of Gonzalez, they really don't have a whole ton back there.
If he would have had 400 if he had more little accuracy, but I would roll with Rodgers personally. And one more before we go to a break. This one is a defense. Do I start the Chargers defense versus Denver, or should I roll with the Steelers at New England?
God, neither of those options are very great. I wouldn't go with the Chargers defense just because Khalil Mack is injured, and that is going to take a good chunk of points away from you. I think you have a higher ceiling with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense going against Drake May and this offense that's still trying to prove themselves. So I would probably ride with Pittsburgh.
I would do the same thing. I just think they have a better upside.
Yeah. But again,
that's a division game. The Chargers defense looked good last week, but remember they were playing the Raiders and the
Geno Smith from the get-go.
The Steelers going to come out pissed.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when it comes down to the Steelers defense, that's probably the one part of that entire team you can rely on week in, week out. So
we'll get into the rest of your text. If you want to jump in, feel free. Text them in 661-842-2000, and you could win a pair of tickets to the Kern County Fair on us right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
again, Sparky chooses the music, but I know why he chose this one. So I get it. They're expecting, from what I understand.
Fourth child.
That was quick.
Yes.
We just learned these two were dating. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Stephon Diggs and Cardi B have come out and said that they're expecting a child. Fourth one, I've said, if Stephane's? Hers. Okay, I wasn't sure if Stephon had kids or not, but
Is their first?
they're first together. Absolutely. Well, and hopefully they,
and keep it going after that. But the entire news story of this over the summer, though, of him and the two of them dating, everybody going crazy about it. This is just really fast. I did not expect that to happen this quickly.
Oh, it does happen quick sometimes.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's like, as someone who is 32 and has been baby free since '93,
yes,
I can't relate. I'm sorry, I just can't relate.
Oh, we've got a couple more that we'll wrap up the hour with. We got Jonnu Smith or Dalton Kincaid.
I love Jonnu in this offense. Go with Jonnu Smith and Dalton.
Personally, Dalton has been money for me.
Has he really? I didn't draft him this year,
but had multiple points each week.
Every time I draft, or I shouldn't say every time I draft him. Every time that I watch a Buffalo Bills game, though, I see Josh throwing to receivers more now than ever. So I feel like a lot of those targets that Kincaid was getting in the last couple of years are kind of going to other people, which might be, in the plan. We never know.
I like Jonnu too this week.
I like Jonnu. Jonnu is always in the conversation in this Pittsburgh offense. And like I've said a couple weeks in a row now, Aaron Rodgers, when he gets a chemistry going with the tight end, it's money, baby. So
they feed him. The next one says, which two should I start this week? I've got Keenan Allen, Hollywood Brown, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Rome. And I said I only mentioned Kupp because he's had 9 or 10 targets last week, and I play in a PPR league.
Kupp, I like this week because of the matchup. The Seahawks got the Saints, and like we saw last week, they get torn apart in the secondary. Marshawn Lattimore, obviously leaving the team last year, was a big hit for the Saints, and they have not been able to bounce back since. So I like Kupp this week. Definitely start Adams. Adams is
Kupp and Adams.
I wouldn't even. Oh God, what was the first one again before Hollywood?
Keenan
Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, if I had to choose between those 5, and if you have a waiver spot, I'd probably go with Odunze in your flex spot, to be honest with you, unless you have a running back that's better. But those would be my 3. So Kupp, Adams, and Odunze. But what are your thoughts?
He said 2. So he said which 2?
No, I know. I'm saying if you have a flex, go with Odunze.
He said he's got a Kamara.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, no, don't worry about it. Go with Adams and Kupp. I think Kupp this week might have a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, I like Keenan Allen. I mean, all your receivers are pretty hungry besides Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
I would steer away from him. I would definitely start Devontae. I like Rome, man. Rome has been fed.
He's so good.
And every time I mean, it's been 2 weeks, but the 1 week I didn't start him, of course, he finds an end zone again.
I don't know. Like I was saying that last year when they both came in as rookies, I had a feeling that this connection was going to be a great one for Chicago. Obviously, it took a year for them to figure it out, I guess. But
a new offense.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I have to agree with you.
Debo or McLaurin?
Debo. Sorry, Debo. Debo has gotten almost double-digit targets both weeks in a row. But again, really neither of these guys are good for you, especially if Jaden doesn't play. Because then you're dealing with Marcus Mariota. And as somebody who has had Marcus Mariota as their starting quarterback here, right here, Atlanta Falcons, right here, he don't throw to receivers. He don't. He can't throw to receivers. He don't got the arm strength. He doesn't. I'm sorry. Like that's part of his game. He does not have the arm strength. Never did.
Going over to quarterback Penix or Darnold.
Little stat for you guys. Michael Penix is the only quarterback in the NFL. So says, what was it? Pro Football Focus.
Other people are saying it.
Not a single play of turnover caliber. Not a single one in 2 games straight. And is the only quarterback that's played the entire 2 games.
He's the greatest.
I'm not saying he's the greatest.
Other people are saying it.
I love
ESPN says it.
ESPN says it, yeah. Pro Football Focus says it. What are we talking about?
If you know what I'm talking about, you already know.
Absolutely. We're going to hear that plenty this
weekend.
Man. God, I can't wait to hear that on Friday again. She makes me laugh at that every time. I'm not the only one who says it. Sports Illustrated says it.
I love her.
Sports Illustrated said it years ago, dude.
She is awesome.
No, but going back to the topic at hand, I would go with Penix because, I mean, that's just the safer pick, and he has obviously had poise. But again, Atlanta's offense, especially after Sunday, I don't know if you could really chalk up them not being able to get into the end zone as, something to worry about because you went against Brian Flores.
which
But
hasn't been Brian Flores.
no,
He's
that's the
barely
thing that's
blitzing.
kind of been weird to me too.
That's a good
So
option, or a good
it's a
option
good
because I
option to
mean,
have.
Darnold, you just said, New Orleans secondary has been beat up or ripped
Yeah.
apart. So I mean,
And Atlanta's going against Carolina.
so you're probably good on either side, but I would
Yeah.
probably lean on Penix.
I would
But
too.
the last one says, do I start Tua or Aaron Rodgers in fantasy this week?
Take it. This is yours. Take it.
I mean, you could flip a coin. We don't know what Dolphin team we're going to see tonight. I personally don't like Thursday night games.
No, I
So
don't
I
either.
personally would probably go with the Sunday option. But hey, it's
Well, and let's also put it this way. One has a ceiling of throwing 4 touchdowns. The other one, not so much. So
and Waddle's 50-50 to play. He's going to be
Yeah.
a game time decision. I personally would go with Rodgers. I didn't draft Tua in my leagues because of the same reason I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And he's still available in a lot of leagues that I'm in. So
Same.
I personally would go with Rodgers, but hey, I'm still going to rock my Dolphins and
No,
hope Tua
100%.
blows up. So
100%. Don't get me
if
wrong.
I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
The Penix pick before this, don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily picking him because I'm a Falcons fan. I'm picking him just because I trust him more than I trust Sam in this Seattle offense right now. But Sam Darnold is still a fantastic quarterback. And like Sparky said, he's probably got the better matchup. But yeah, after a while, you got to kind of put your fan base to the side and really look at it, especially if you're playing fantasy football. That is one of my biggest rules I tell people when they're first getting in. Do not be that guy to just draft your favorite players on your team.
I've learned.
I have seen that happen a million times. I've only seen it work out once, and that was with a guy who I know very well who is a Rams fan and did nothing but draft Rams the year where they were just going off. So it
Fastest team on
worked out.
turf.
Yeah, it worked out for him. But then he swiftly learned the next year it doesn't work. So
Yeah, we're going to do our football picks after the break. If you'd like to jump in, feel free. Call in right now at 842-2000. If not, it's me versus Burdick. We'll see who wins.
it's all right.
And
You're scared. I get it.
maybe we'll get some lunch. We'll
You're
figure
scared.
it out.
I get it.
But keep it tuned in. We are the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special, Hour 2 on this Thursday, as we get ready for the Miami Dolphins to potentially take down the Buffalo Bills tonight.
Fins up.
Thursday Night Football, which you can hear right here on ESPN Bakersfield. We'll have a whole list of the rest of the games you could hear this weekend, including some college ball, probably tomorrow.
I have the
Oh, do you have the list with you?
I don't have the printed list, but I loaded up the promos. I know the Raiders game is the early game, and
Fantastic.
The Chiefs. And I got the sheet right in front of me. It's the Chiefs and Giants Sunday night. I believe the afternoon game, if I am right, I believe it was
I would assume it's probably
Denver and Chargers.
Ah, yes. Would probably be the LA Chargers.
And then the big Monday night game this week is Detroit and Baltimore.
Fantastic.
We'll get into that with our football picks.
Fantastic football game.
And I'm going to throw it out. I already know I owe you one lunch, so let's just do double or nothing for our picks.
All right, fine. Sounds
and
good.
If you might have just one game to start with. So
you never know. Never know.
We got Bubba in here with our football picks.
Bubba, thank you. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Tonight's
let's get
game
this going, man.
Miami at Buffalo. Am I the only one?
More than likely, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm riding with the Beals.
Dolphins.
Oh, I got a Dolphin.
I love you. There is 3 Dolphin fans I know of. Atlanta at Carolina.
Never bet on Carolina. Go with Atlanta and Michael Penix.
I'm going Atlanta as well.
Atlanta.
Green Bay at Cleveland. Is anyone taking Cleveland?
No, not this time. Not after the way Joe Flacco looked last Sunday.
We got Houston at Jacksonville. I'm going Houston.
I'm going to stick with Houston as well. Trevor Lawrence just regressing. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the longer the hair, the worse of a quarterback he becomes. I don't know. It's the opposite of Goku. What we got, Bubba?
Houston.
So just a side note, everyone knows I lost Bro in our league, our radio league, and immediately I've got 3 trade offers. And one of them was Randy down the hall trying to send me Trevor Lawrence. I said, dude,
Heck no.
I'll play the waivers, my brother.
Heck no. You can find better spot on the waivers.
Cincinnati at Minnesota, the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Who do you got, Bubba?
Bengals.
I'm going with Carson Wentz and the Vikings.
Me as well. I will go with the Vikings. Pittsburgh at New England.
This game is so ugly. I'll go with Pittsburgh.
I'm going Pittsburgh as well.
What you got, Bubba?
Pittsburgh.
And then we got
For
the
the Patriots.
the Rams at the Eagles.
I'm going to stick with my pick from this morning. I'm going with the Eagles. I think the Rams, or I'm sorry, I'm going with the Rams. I think the Eagles get their first loss of the year.
I'm going with Philly.
Philly.
All right. Then we got the Jets at Tampa.
No Justin Fields in this game, right? Or
Yep,
at least
that
questionable.
one is official.
That's
Tyrod is
official?
starting.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Tampa Bay then and Baker Mayfield, who's quietly one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. No one talks about it.
I'm going with him as well.
Tampa.
All right. And then we get into the second half. We got the Colts at the Titans.
I'm telling you, this is the levee breaking. Titans going to pull off this game.
I'm going Indy.
Indy.
Las Vegas Raiders at the Washington Commanders. Jaden is what, 50-50 to play?
50-50 at the moment, but just because of that, I'm going with the Raiders. Plus, they got to come out pissed off. They have to.
I'm going to switch.
Come on, Pete.
I'm going back to Washington.
We talked about this during the press conference, Pete. Turn it around, baby. What do you got, Bubba?
Washington.
All right. Then we have Denver at the Chargers, AFC West showdown.
God, the Chargers look good.
God,
the Chargers look good, but I got to go with Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos.
All right. Who do you got, Bubba?
Chargers.
God, the Chargers look so good, too. Losing Khalil Mack, though, is going to be – you would think that's an impact play.
I'm going to go with Denver. It should be a close one.
Do we know if
though.
Patrick Surtain is on the field this weekend?
I have no idea.
I was curious about that.
The New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks. Everybody taking Seattle?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Just like Carolina, when in doubt, vote against the Saints. Or
Dallas
the
at Chicago.
I do not like this game.
I'm going to go
really
Dallas,
don't.
but I could be wrong with
Who
this
you got,
one.
Bubba?
Dallas.
I'll go with the Bears. I'll go with the Bears then, because this game is so ugly. I don't know who to believe in, but I'll go with the Bears.
Arizona at San Francisco. And Purdy is questionable. Game time decision.
I'm going to go with San Francisco only because Arizona almost threw the game away to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers last weekend.
I'm going Arizona. Who you got, Bubba?
San Francisco.
And the Sunday night game, Kansas City at the Giants.
Kansas City, I swear that game last week was a fluke for Russ. Everybody's sitting there saying, he scored 60 fantasy points for me. I'm going to pick him up this week. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Have fun with Russ.
I'll go with Kansas City.
Kansas City.
And finally, the Monday night game with a total. We've got the Detroit Lions traveling to Baltimore.
I don't think the Detroit Lions have what it takes to take on Lamar, especially not with Aaron Glenn, or not without Aaron Glenn as the defensive coordinator. So I'm going with Baltimore.
What's your total?
I'll stick with the one I picked this morning, 63.
63. Who you got, Bubba?
Ravens 61.
I'm going to stick with Detroit, and I will go with 72. Good luck.
Good Lord, that's a high-scoring
I'm
game.
telling you.
35-36.
I have to go with the my undefeated Dolphins. But I got a question for you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Bubba.
Burdick.
Appreciate it.
We have my one and done league where I've got 2 spots left. I'm going with Seattle on one of them because I'm gonna just
vote against the Yanks.
Gonna ride against the Saints.
That's fair.
But out of these games this week, who do you think is a lock for the other one?
Okay. God, that's a tough.
I'm leaning on maybe Atlanta.
Don't take Atlanta.
Maybe Green Bay over Cleveland, but Cleveland
That's
is
a
making
safer
it tight.
pick.
And I just don't want to bet against Cleveland.
Do not take Atlanta only because these interdivision games are always tricky. And at some point, like I said with the Colts, the levy breaks. And even though the team is better than the other one,
I was leaning on
just ends up going the
Pittsburgh,
other
but then
way.
they showed up last week, and I'm scared to take Pittsburgh.
If I had to pick any of them, I'd probably go with the Packers. I think the Packers against Cleveland is a pretty solid lock. I don't believe that Cleveland has actually figured it out. And we haven't even gotten to the Shedeur Sanders news yet this week, too, which we're going to get to after this. But
the other one I was thinking was Kansas City
over the Giants
on prime time.
God. That's such a good pick,
but
too.
It could be a trap. All these could be traps. So I'll stay away from Atlanta because you said that. And I will stay away from Pittsburgh.
I would probably go either Green Bay or Kansas City. I think those are 2 safe ones. And honestly, Kansas City is safe just because the NFL would not let the Golden Boys go down 3-0.
I didn't think 0-2, but
honestly, at this point, they might just be doing it just for storyline purposes. I mean, they might be doing it just to allow them to be the first team to come back 0-4 and make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl or something like that. But
I'm not betting money.
I wouldn't bet money either. But Kansas City just has not looked like Kansas City. Obviously, injuries are a big piece of that as well. But going up against a team like the Giants, who still are one giant question mark, pun intended, yeah, I'm going to go with the team that's been proven to get to a Super Bowl a couple times.
Kansas City's probably the safest bet.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, well, no, your safest bet for me, for sure, is the Packers against Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm not. What did you got with the Shedeur?
So, no, the Shedeur Sanders news that I wanted to talk about, because we didn't get to it on Monday because we weren't here, but there is news that came out of the Shedeur Sanders camp from the draft that apparently he told multiple teams to not draft him, including the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens.
Teams that already have franchise quarterbacks.
But regardless, because I can't remember who said it. I think it was Orlovsky, but I can't remember who said it on ESPN, but they made a very good point. You said no to all these teams, granted, because you didn't want to be a backup. That's fine. But you clearly weren't thinking of your development, because now you're in Cleveland, the place where quarterbacks go to die. They don't develop quarterbacks in Cleveland. They really don't. So at this point, did Shedeur kind of shoot himself in the foot by telling Baltimore and all these other teams, don't draft me because I don't want to be a backup to your guy? I mean, granted, no one wants to be the backup to Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts because you're never going to be on the field. But at the same time, you're thinking, I need to develop myself. I am not the peak quarterback I would be at, the time of being a starter yet. So why not go to one of these teams that has a history of developing quarterbacks that are just like you? running mobile quarterbacks have athleticism that could probably figure it out and actually, teach you how to play the NFL game. And I've harped on this a couple times. Rookies don't need to start in their first year. They really don't. In fact, the majority of them that are successful didn't. So why freak out and say, no, I don't want you to draft me because you're going to make me a backup? You're a backup in Cleveland. And most likely they went to Dylan. You're probably going to stay that way because they went to Dylan Gabriel last week instead of you. So do you think that Shador is probably going to be learning a lesson here?
He's even listed as the emergency quarterback.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is a shorter leash just in Cleveland because Flacco is, probably going to on his way out. I mean,
Right.
He's pushing 50, but I would say Cleveland has a history with these quarterbacks. And personally, your number one issue now is just getting better than Dylan Gabriel.
Right.
But you're still in Cleveland.
And they're not going to exactly make that easy for you to do. They're not going to develop you into a quarterback that's better than Dylan, especially since they're probably going to be doing the same thing with Dylan. And
ruining his whole career.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, look, man, I will die on this hill. The Cleveland Browns are where quarterbacks go to die. It really is. Everybody. I mean, when I was younger, I heard that about Tampa Bay. Is that Tampa Bay was the place where quarterbacks go to die and retire? No, it's Cleveland. It's been Cleveland. I mean, the Chicago Bears, I guess you could have a pretty good argument there as well. I was just listening to the Rich Eisen show go down the list of quarterbacks that Cleveland or that Chicago has had in the last
30 of them.
Yeah, in the last 20 years, 30 years. It's nuts. So realistically speaking, yeah, you could have an argument about the Chicago Bears as well. But in my personal opinion, Chicago's at least tried. They've at least tried to develop some of these guys. They tried with Jay Cutler. They tried with with Orton. They're trying currently with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, there's a long list.
Cleveland, not so much. In fact, not so much to the point that they allowed Johnny Manziel to literally watch 0 game film. 0. So who care about your guys getting developed? Clearly you give a dang. So that's why I'm saying, like, if in terms of Shador telling everybody, don't draft me because I don't want to be a backup to your guy. God, man, now I'm seeing
luckily
it.
Baker got out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't know exactly what your plan is there, Shador, but being the third string quarterback on a team where quarterbacks go to die isn't exactly going to get you a starting job somewhere else. It's really not. In my personal opinion, had he got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens and played as a backup to Lamar, developed his game for maybe a year, and if maybe Lamar got dinged up throughout the year, we saw a little bit of Shador Sanders, which would have been the highlight of every Baltimore game.
I thought for sure he was going to Dallas.
And that's still on the table, to be honest with you. I know they just traded for Milton, and they're waiting for that to kind of develop if Dak doesn't work out, but Dak looked fine in week 2. This entire story, though, how do I put this? The more and more we learn about this draft day, it more and more comes to light why he slipped so far down.
Yeah, and in the beginning, it was all, the NFL was blackballing him. Now we're hearing more. It was about the interviews that he was doing, that he was telling teams not to draft him,
and now
blah, blah, blah.
Now there's stories literally coming out of him on draft day getting phone calls saying, no, don't draft me.
No, we're good.
Don't draft me.
Wrong number.
Yeah, wrong number. Dude, you're dropping down to rounds 3, 4, 5. I don't think at this point you have a say. Yes, sir, I will be there. What day is first day of camp?
Yeah,
that's the only words that should come out.
And they were all playing him as the victim.
And that's what I'm saying. Like this, if Shador Sanders never sees the NFL field as a starter, that's now on him. 110%. With more of these stories coming out, that is 100% on him. If by next year we're in the preseason, he's never started a game, and Cleveland's arguing potentially cutting him, you may have just signed away your entire career, bud. Sorry. And that's because you said no to the Baltimore Ravens. And from what I understand, the Philadelphia Eagles and a couple other teams too, from what Cam Newton was reporting. That's wild. But then again, this is coming from somebody who, if I was even close to being in the NFL draft at all, anybody calling my phone saying, hey, we want you, I'm saying, yes, sir. Where the heck am I going?
I'm there.
Like, how much is the plane ticket? Or do I have to get it myself? Are you guys going to get it? What's happening here?
I heard that Eisen interview too, or the segment. He was also talking about how the Packers have had 3 quarterbacks within the Bears'
Yep.
30. But it's insane, and I can't talk because the Dolphins have probably had more quarterbacks since Marino. So we'll take our
Marino
break,
was one of those Chicago
Right.
quarterbacks that I totally forgot.
and we'll take
Brandon
our
went
break,
there.
and we'll wrap up our segment before we get into Bolt Brady, where we can win you some money right here
Absolutely.
on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. It's Ryan. It is raining outside. First rain of the year. Well, of the
Smells like
trap. Since WrestlePalooza is this weekend, I came across this post last night and it just made me laugh every caption. So I'm going to throw these at Sparky. This is WWE related. Okay. Each caption describes a different wrestler or group of wrestlers. And I want you, my friend, to guess which one it is. And I promise you, some of these are not safe for radio, so I have to skip some. But some of them are great. Let's start with this one. This one should be pretty easy for you. Date idea. Fight another couple.
Fight another couple.
Fight another couple. So what
the-
WWE superstar or superstars will be connected to that caption?
There's old Seth and Becky and CM and what's her name? Amy?
AJ. So
AJ, whatever.
CM and AJ would be the answer to that question.
Okay.
Another easy one for you just to get it off and running. Me at a dive bar. Chicken strips, please. Me at a 5-star restaurant. Chicken strips, s'il vous plaît.
Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dom, exactly. So we've got a couple more here. Let's see if we can get some of these done. I'm an ethical hater. I'm hating on you from a nuanced and multifaceted standpoint. I am an ethical hater.
See, I would go with CM Punk, but Drew
McIntyre.
Okay.
Absolutely. My friends keep getting mad at me for trying to make up new slang, which, like, bro, relax. There's no need to get all garfed up about this. Which superstar could potentially be described by creating new slang?
I mean, there's several that come up to mind. So, The Miz.
No, this one actually goes to Jey Uso for Yeet, obviously. There's a man mad at me for what I did. This could be a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah, I was gonna say
This could be so many different people, but I'm going to tell you this one right now. It is a very, very well-known rivalry that has showed its face a couple times in the last year.
What is it?
It is a very, very well-known
But
rivalry.
what was the?
Oh, the caption? I'm sorry. There's a man mad at me for what he did.
Oh, I have no idea.
That would be the rivalry between Seth Rollins and one
Okay.
Roman Reigns. And then the last one I got for you here. Me and my man have the same attitude, and I don't know who's worse.
Is it still with Seth?
It is Seth and Becky.
Okay.
100% Seth and Becky. And again, you can catch all of these guys this Saturday, WrestlePalooza on ESPN programming,
Which
the
I
ESPN app. I should say.
Ghostface. I hope you're downloading that ESPN app or signing it up
Uh-oh.
for the bundle because we
Uh-oh.
do need it Saturday. And if you're going to be out at the fair, you can catch me out Saturday at the Sugar Ray
Yes.
concert. I'll be throwing out some shirts for Big FM. I'm going to sneak in some early bird
I was gonna
shirts
say,
too.
sneak some of those
I'm
in.
going to do that as well. But hopefully it's not raining by then because I know
Well-
I've got a couple friends that are actually playing. The Minto Buru guys are playing
Nice.
all 12 days. The monster trucks will be out there
Yep.
Saturday night. I got a couple buddies going out to that. It's going to be a busy, jam-packed Kern County Fair.
Fair, baby.
And I'll
It's
bring
the
it up
best time of
again,
year.
man. We did our media tour yesterday, and there is Dubai chocolate everywhere.
That's the okay. So unpopular opinion. People might not like me for this. I don't care for it.
Me neither. I'm
it
not a
looks
fan.
gross. It like I don't know why I look at Dubai chocolate. I was looking at the cinnamon rolls, which do look delectable. Do not get me wrong.
That was the good one.
That looked fantastic and it tasted fantastic. But when you put the green stuff on top, it
Yeah.
looks to me like you just put chili verde sauce on top of chocolate.
Which I would have probably ate.
I probably would have
I
too.
would've
I love
probably
chili verde,
taken
but
that.
at the same time, I'm not. That's not what I want on my chocolate.
No, but
I don't need some green stuff there.
We drove by. There's an Uncrustable. It's right in the center when you're
Oh.
going towards the adult area.
I'm
But
ready
there's
for
an
it.
Uncrustable bacon cheeseburger.
I'm ready for it.
So each side has the jam and the was a grape and strawberry.
Okay, so it's both
Yeah.
fantastic.
And
I
it was
just gonna
it was
ask.
actually good, but I think
Is
it
it
was more
grilled?
of a getting out of the Dubai chocolate out of my
Yeah,
mouth.
that's fair. Was the Uncrustable grilled?
I don't think so.
Darn it! I was thinking
But
in my head.
the guy that runs that shop right there, he did say he'll make anything for you.
Sweet.
you
I'm
just
gonna
tell
have
him.
him grill the Uncrustable just to see, because if you can get that little flaky, that like
Mhm.
crunch in the
little
Uncrustable
crust.
too. Ooh,
It's
baby.
the same thing. This is an unpopular argument in our home, but I personally don't like Pop-Tarts untoasted.
Really? Oh,
I'll like 'em
untoasted.
toasted.
Okay.
I like to toast them and put a
Okay.
little butter on top
No,
where it
that's fair.
melts.
You know, you're not the first one to tell
Well,
me
my
that they
son
put
is like,
butter on
"No."
them. I've never once
love
put
it.
butter on a Pop-Tart.
Especially
Never really thought about it.
strawberries or the strawberry and cherry. If you put a little butter right after you toast it and it melts, it's bomb.
I've never tried that. I'll have
But
to
I
try
also
it.
don't eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast.
No, I don't either. I haven't since I was a kid. But
But
I
my
mean,
son, a kid,
I
enjoys the
agree
hell
with
out
you,
of
though.
them.
I agree with you, though. Pop-Tarts are much better when they're toasted. And I don't know when we kind of steered away from that. Like, everybody just kind of started eating them dry. And I'm like, what's wrong with
When you're a
y'all?
kid and you're in a hurry, you just grab them and
Ain't
eat
no
them on
kid in
their
a
way.
hurry. There's no such thing as a kid in a hurry. What are you talking about? You ain't got nowhere to be.
Well, if you're late, you're
Yeah,
getting
that's
up
fair.
late and
That's
you're in
fair.
a rush to
That's
go to
all on you.
school, that's on you. But the other one was so it's a question that I put on our big FM listeners, but there's so much different foods on a stick. Yes, obviously the corn dogs, but I saw a pizza on a stick, which was a French bread pizza on a stick, and it looked incredible. So I'm gonna have to go and try that on this weekend. But the other one that I was looking at was the pork chop on a stick. Yes,
Pork chop on a
Pork chop-
stick. Okay,
pork
how
chop
big
on
is
a
the
stick.
stick?
I have no idea.
Are
I
we
just
talking
saw
about a
the
log? How big of a stick are you putting?
I
'Cause
just saw it
I've
on the
seen some
menu.
big pork chops.
and I was like, I know, like I'm not the type of person like that goes to Disneyland and walks around with
No,
a
but I
turkey
mean,
leg.
Oh,
But
I am.
I know
I'll get a
some
mutton.
friends-
I'll get a mutton any day. I'll go to Six Flags right there first thing. Hey, I'll take that. Thank you.
I personally am not a big turkey person
I
unless
love
it's
turkey.
Thanksgiving. But we're gonna get into where is it at? Tomorrow when we have Kyle Pitzer from Dionysus. He's gonna go in. Okay, so they have some beer slushies, and he put up a poll because they're announcing a new beer slushie for this weekend in WrestlePalooza. And the options the options were where's it at? Buffalo wing
I remember
beer
that one.
slushie,
I remember that one.
pumpkin spice beer slushie,
Yeah, traditional.
cotton candy grape
See, I'm in on that
beer
one. That sounds
slushie,
fantastic.
and maple bacon donut beer slushie.
Ooh.
And I will tell you, when he first started talking about beer slushies with us, I was like, oh gosh, no. But when he announced the it was a couple weeks ago, he did the Fruity Pebble beer
Yes.
slushie. Me and the wife went down there and tried them. They are incredible, especially on a hot day.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I
I
know we're
believe-
getting into colder temps.
I
but
believe
you can
he
still
went
pull it
with the
off.
pumpkin as
Did he go with the
well.
pumpkin spice?
Obviously, it's pumpkin everything these
and I mean,
days.
the rest of those, the chicken wing one, I'm very curious how you're
Yeah.
going to pull that off. Is
I
it
would-
going to be like a spicy beer? Like I
would try
could
that.
see that. I could definitely see it.
But the cotton candy grape,
that sounds fantastic.
yeah, that would be good.
We
But
can put some Fruity Pebbles back on that one too.
yes.
We can totally do that.
But
I'm all for it.
We'll take a break. We'll get Bolt Brady in here, and we'll help you win some money right here on the early bird special. ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. And we are also streaming video live every single day on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Just search for us, the Early Bird Special. And as always, it's time to pull in our handicapper, our guy Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady and Bro at the Believe Network. Top handicapper in the land. And I swear, if you do not take this time wisely, you're missing out on a lot of money. Bolt, what's going on, my friend?
What's happening, fellas?
Oh, not a whole ton, sir. How are you about last week? How are how'd every bet go through? Did we end up winning most of your picks last week?
So we went 2-2 last week, and we have the Dolphins again up on deck tonight, and they don't look too good.
No, but that's the first question we had to ask you, because the line, I think yesterday was 11.5. It may have now jumped to 12.5. Do you bet on this at all? Do you take the money and run? Like, personally, I'm looking at it saying that's a lot of points.
It definitely is a lot of points, but they struggle so much going up there. I mean, they haven't won up there. But put it this way, Josh Allen was still at Wyoming the last time they won in Buffalo. So they definitely struggle up there, but I'm looking more at the over-under. It's 50.5, and I'm going with the under there. I just think Miami's a really, really bad squad.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry, Sparky.
So I will say it is probably a good reason why they're an underdog, but I said it all show. You know, Dolphins went out in Buffalo last year and lost by 3. I know this is not the same Dolphin team as last year, and there was some type of hope last week. I mean, even with, in the first half, they had the ball for 2-3 minutes and had 14 points. If Tua can shake it off, I know he's been drooling all over Josh Allen in the media this week, but it's one of those things is Miami. I mean, I wouldn't put money on it, but personally, Miami is one of those teams they're going to either play them tight or the game will be over in the end of the first quarter.
Sure. I just don't take anything from last week's game because I'm down on the Patriots too. It's another reason why the Steelers -1.5 is one of the best bets this week also.
I mean, if you go into the history, they were pumping it up. Oh, Tua's never lost to New England. He's 7-0 against New England. I was like, don't say it. Don't even say it.
The levee's
don't even
gonna
bring
break
it up.
Eventually.
And it's going to break. But I'm obviously a Dolphins fan, so I try to I don't mix my money with my fandom. And I would stay away from this game. I do like the points, but I'd have to flip a coin, and I wouldn't want to put your money into that risk.
11.5 and 12.5 are just too much for me to ignore, though. But let's talk about some of these college games. I mean, we got a handful of them that look great. Any thoughts on potentially some of these top 25 matchups this weekend?
Well, a couple weeks ago, we took Oklahoma against Michigan, and that turned out well for us. We're going to go against Michigan again this week. They actually travel into Nebraska, and Nebraska's +1.5. Michigan's currently ranked 21 in the nation. I think they're overrated. We're going to go against them again.
Do you believe in this quarterback that they pulled in? I know he's the highest paid quarterback right now in NIL. I just don't think he really has the juice.
For Nebraska?
No, I'm sorry, for Michigan. For Michigan. Nebraska's quarterback I love.
Right, yeah. The 5-star freshman.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. When you go into Nebraska in that environment also, Nebraska fans, a lot of people might know this, but they are incredible, the fandom they have there. I used to live in Colorado, and when they come to play CU, it was just a sea of red for like 3 days straight. Their fans are great.
Oh, they travel well, and honestly, they pack out that stadium, so it's going to be a rough game for Michigan. Do you have any thoughts on the Auburn-Oklahoma game going on this weekend as well?
No, not really. That's a stay away. I still think I still need to watch Auburn play. I know Oklahoma's good, but I have to watch Auburn play a little bit more.
No, that's fair. Any other big games you're looking at then?
Well, in the NFL, there's a couple more. I really like Cincinnati versus Cincinnati plus the 2.5 versus
okay.
The Vikings are starting Carson Wentz, who just got there 3 weeks ago. And he has not won a game since 22. And last year when he played, because he was on the Chiefs and the Broncos, the season was already wrapped up because the Chiefs have already solidified their spot in the playoffs. He played the last game, and they lost 38-0.
Oh, I forgot about that, actually. You're right. But, I mean, Jake Browning on the other side can't be much better for Cincinnati, right?
Well, he actually, when he came in and filled in for Joe, he's got a record of 4-3 last year. So Joe actually, we won some chips with Joe. I'm sorry, with Browning last year. He's a good player, actually. He's far, far better than Carson Wentz.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. Any other big games you're looking at?
And lastly, in the NFL, I think Cleveland's getting too many points, 7.5 against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of points for Green Bay to late. Green Bay's been playing well. They're 2-0, but both games have been at home. Let's see what they do on the road. I'll take Cleveland.
So I asked this question to Sparky earlier in the show, more about Miami, but I can kind of shift this over to Cleveland as well. With how bad Joe looked last week, do you think we'll see a shift in the quarterback in who plays quarterback for Cleveland here in the next couple of weeks?
Not yet. I think Flacco walked into a wasp nest last week. You know, after them losing to Buffalo, they were zeroed in on that.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that Flacco definitely gives them the best chance to win right now.
And the same question that I asked to Sparky this morning as well, kind of the same question about Mike McDaniel. Do you think if they lose tonight to Buffalo, that there's going to be some conversations that he might be let go as well?
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, the offensive genius that people thought he was 4 years ago, that's definitely wearing off now. I definitely think he's on the hot seat.
He's definitely on the hot seat. He should have been on the hot seat last year. But I will say, once they changed the rules of, running motions on these players, it took a hit on his team. And I did see last week, once he started moving these guys in motion, it started to open up. But it really is the offensive line. They're on their backup right guard, right tackle. And it just, that defense looks tired. And then it is week 3. But, both games, they've been on the field for 30 minutes or longer. And that's on the offense, too. But I've been saying it. If they go 0-3 going into the Jets, they have a long week. Stephen Ross, please, God. Just fire him, fire Chris Greer. I don't care. We'll pull a Saints card and run with the special teams coach for the rest of the season, but we got to do something.
I would agree with that. And the Tyreek distractions don't help the team either.
Yeah, and he just came out and said, yeah, I've been missing meetings. I was like, why would you say that the day of a game? But we've got 2 texts asking for you, Bolt. One was the Purdue and Notre Dame game. Would you touch that one?
No, but I would lean with Notre Dame there. Purdue's not very good.
26.5 is the spread right now. That's insane.
Notre Dame's probably not too happy right now either.
No. And the last one was Washington against Washington State.
Usually that's a great rivalry, but Washington State's not very good this year.
I grew up watching Washington State not be good, though. So hearing any time that Washington State is good is an outlier year for me.
You got to watch those rivalry games.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can get a little funky. Even when a team's not very good, they obviously get really, really jacked up for that game. They're fun to watch, but what do they call it? The Apple rivalry or something like that?
Something like that. I know, I can't exactly remember the name of this one, but this one usually, you're right, is one of those that you have to watch. When they were in the Pac-12 together, it was one of those that every single year you were wondering if the Cougars could pull it off and beat the Huskies, kind of like the Beavers and the Ducks. But these are so weird to me as well, just because, like we say about NFL games, any given Saturday, you could see one of these teams end up winning. So it's just really, really weird. But sir, thank you so much for your time. As always, real quick, just to run it down for us, for our listeners one more time. You said Nebraska over Michigan, Buffalo over Miami. Cleveland with the points over the Packers, correct?
Yeah, so I said the Bills under, actually.
Bills under. I apologize. Right. You're right.
Cincinnati plus 2.5, Pittsburgh minus 1.5, and Cleveland plus 7.5. And then in college, Nebraska over Michigan plus 1.5.
Fantastic, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you next week, and hopefully these guys actually start listening to you and making some money.
All right, fellas. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. We got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. We'll have the final segment of the day on the other side, wrap it up, and we'll tell you all about our Friday show. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Final segment of the day here on the Early Bird Special, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. ESPN Bakersfield, as well as streaming video online every single day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Look up the Early Bird Special. We'll be right there. You can check out every single show and all the backlog of our shows as well, including a couple of our podcast episodes that are still up on the YouTube channel. We had to remove a handful of them, but there are still some up there for you to enjoy. We have a show our show tomorrow should be a good one as well, as we talk WrestlePalooza right before that on Saturday with our guy Kyle Pitzer of Dionysus, as well as plenty more to talk about in the world of sports. We'll get you the breakdown of what happens between Sparky's Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills this week. Even though Bolt is looking at the over-under, I like that 11.5-point spread. I don't know why. There's just something about it. But again, I'm not a bettor. Don't follow me. I don't bet. But I mean, we live in California. Legally, I can't. So, but at the same
Only
time,
prop bets.
11.5 points. God, that's hard to walk away from. That's
Yeah,
really hard.
We had two questions. One
What's
was, hey guys, who should I go with? Swift from the Bears or Connor from Arizona?
God, I love James Conner. Honestly, James Conner is one of those guys that's just consistent, like Mike Evans. So I always lean on guys like that. I'd go with Conner.
I would say the same thing.
Like, I know that Swift is kind of figuring it out again with this new offense, or well, new to everybody else, not new to him. But like I said a couple days ago, or maybe it was last week, that still concerns me. You're the only player on this Bears team that knows this offense already, and you're still not getting it. And you didn't get it back when you were with Detroit either. So that's kind of a concern to me. But again, Connor with the Arizona Cardinals, anytime they need a rushing touchdown or if they're close, they give it to him. I'd go with James Conner. He's been a consistent threat at the running back position in fantasy football. So
the next one just said, what match are you guys looking forward to with WrestlePalooza?
a lot of them, to be honest with you, are pretty much what I was expecting. If I had to pick one that I'm most excited for, probably Seth and Becky against AJ and Punk. But I think there's going to be a lot of like allure to that one, a lot of story that's going to be built. I do like the John and Brock Lesnar match, but you all know what I was hoping for with that entire situation. So unfortunately, getting it this early sucks to me.
I wonder if they're going to add an extra match.
I would think so on Friday. Usually we get about 5 matches a PLE, and we only have 4 right now, which makes me believe it's probably going to be a tag match. Maybe they're waiting for Charlotte to get cleared before they can actually announce if she and Alexa can defend those tag titles against maybe Chelsea and Piper or whomever they decide.
Service.
Yeah, the Secret Hervis. Again, one of the best names. I love that. I don't know why, but when I heard that at first, and the Green administration when she was the champion,
badass wrestler.
She's so awesome. I love her.
But I also could see them. I mean, they would have done it on Raw already, but I wonder what are they doing with Penta and New Day?
So they're really just stretching this out because New Day has also been doing work with AAA. This entire move storyline, I should say, to get rid of the Mexican Destroyer and stuff kind of led them down there, taking on the tag team champions down there as well, which they did a fantastic job at Worlds Collide. But we also got a promo from Penta for the first time in AAA of him calling out he actually called out the AAA Mega Champion at the time, which was Vikingo, but also said if Dominic wins, he'd be willing to wrestle Dominic as well. So we might actually see Penta do more work down in Mexico in the next couple of weeks. So I'd keep an eye out for that.
I mean, the Cody and Drew we've seen, and they're always great matches.
Oh, 100%.
But I personally, Io and Stephanie, knowing I think is 99.9%, Stephanie takes the title. But anytime I could see Io, but I'm hoping that this will kind of start up the Io and Asuka, as my Asuka match still hasn't arrived. I was hoping to wear it tomorrow.
And that's brewing. That's been brewing a little bit on TV. So I think you're right. I think we might end up seeing, I know a lot of fans want to see Stephanie with that belt, but traditionally, at least from what I've watched in wrestling, they usually don't give it to the young talent that early, especially the main title championship.
It just makes more sense because I don't know why they would put it back on Io. I didn't understand why they took it in the first place.
Right.
but they had a story brewing, and then obviously the Naomi thing happened. She got pregnant, so all of this kind of went by the wayside. But I do agree with you. It doesn't necessarily look great storyline wise that they just throw it back on EO. But at the same time, EO's already got this rivalry brewing with Asuka, which would be a fantastic championship match in its own right. And we really haven't gotten the next step for Stephanie yet. Usually when they're the champion or they're the one that's going to be walking away with the chip, you see a what's coming next. And we haven't seen that with Stephanie. They flirted the whole Rhea thing, but now they're flirting with the whole Rhea and Stephanie being a tag team. So
doing the kiss together
on NXT Homecoming this past Tuesday. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of wrestling fans want that more than they want Stephanie with a championship
against each other.
Yeah. So
the other one is, this will be the first time I've seen Cena and Lesnar fight live.
This is if you have time between now and Saturday, I'd go back and watch some of their earlier work. Although Lesnar whoops him every single time, because
I've seen the whole story that they put together with how he just beat the crap out of him for years.
But it's a weird parallel between their careers, really, because if you take into account, for those of you who have no idea, John and Brock came up together in the 2004 OVW class, which also included Randy Orton and Batista. But the two of them really had opposite sides of the spectrum. There was a point where John was so unpopular, he was about to be cut from the company, until this whole Doctor of Thugonomics thing got started one day when Stephanie McMahon overheard him rapping on the bus. And Brock Lesnar came in as Vince's next big guy. Brock was the thing in the WWE for a while, until he became really depressed with it and just fed up with it and didn't want it. And when Brock left, that no one really realizes this, but the PLE where Brock left and he was done after that was the same PLE where John really got his start and got the big push and beat Big Show and did all this crazy stuff to become John Cena. So their careers have really been eerily parallel while also being opposite of each other, and headed towards the exact same point, which is right here and now, where we're seeing two of the biggest stars in wrestling history go up against each other on Saturday in a match that's actually going to be good. It's not going to be Goldberg and Gunther. But at this point, this is going to be most likely the first time we see John win this. I just want to know how. Is he going to get Brock to tap out? Is he going to make Brock, is he going to pin Brock? How are we going to do this that still saves Brock? Because if the whole multi-year deal thing is true, you want to absolutely keep his character still the beast that he is and the monster. But you got to give John the win on the way out, I would assume. You can't just continue the losing streak between him and Brock Lesnar. Because if you do, what would the rest of the story be? Brock coming in and just running roughshod, and everybody else he tries to do a match with, like did with Cody before he left the last time?
So would that be the retirement match? Maybe Brock does win and he fights him again.
Maybe, but usually the retirement match, you don't win that.
Or you're gonna have him up against Roman or Cody again.
I would prefer him. If we don't get him and Brock as the retirement match, I would rather it be one of those matches where John passes the torch to whomever he believes is the next John Cena, or at least next big superstar, and not somebody that's already established. So not John or Roman. Honestly, Braun is even starting to get to that point where he doesn't need this match anymore. Yeah. I think this needs to go to somebody like a Carmelo Hayes, like an up and coming. Maybe you give Sami Zayn another shot.
Oh God, no.
I know, but it needs to be somebody that doesn't already have a presence. Somebody that you can sit there and say, this guy beat the GOAT. He's got some potential, and the rest of the universe needs to know it.
I would love it to be Carmelo.
I would love it to be Carmelo too, but I think Carmelo's on his own little path right now.
But I could also see maybe that's how Braun and
how they finally separate the vision.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Maybe we do see that at the end of the year. I don't know. We still got a handful of John Cena appearances, so we'll see.
We'll be getting into more wrestling with Kyle Pitzer. Plus, we'll talk about the beer slushies and what they got planned this weekend over at Dionysus.
And a 50-50 shot. We might be talking to somebody from the WWE. Possibility. Small one, but it's there. This is the Early Bird Special. Join us back here tomorrow, 7 to 9, as always. All over the internet as well. Go join and follow us. But until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.